Gatsby's American Dream, adapted by me, starting on page 89.
I'll be playing Gatsby.
I'll be Daisy.
And I will be Nick.
Alright, Steve. My house looks well, doesn't it?
He demanded.
See how the whole front of it catches the light?
That is splendid.
Yes, it took me just 3 years to earn the money that bought it.
I thought you inherited the money.
I did, old sport.
He answered automatically. When I asked him what his business was in, he answered,
That's my affair.
That wasn't an appropriate reply, but he corrected himself.
I've been in several things. I was in the drug business.
And then the oil business.
But I'm not in either one now.
Before I could answer,
Daisy came out of the house.
Her dress gleaming in the sunlight.
That huge place there?
Do you like it?
I love it, but I don't see how you live there all alone.
I keep it full of interesting people.
night and day,
People who do interesting things.
celebrated people.
That's right, old sport.
We went down the road and entered by the big postern.
With enchanting murmurs.
Daisy admired the silhouette of the house against the sky.
Admired the gardens and the marble steps.
We went upstairs and wandered through period bedrooms.
Swathed in rose and lavender silk.
He hadn't once ceased,
Looking at Daisy.
and I thought he revalued everything in his house.
According to the measure of response it drew.
From her well-loved eyes.
So this depicts Daisy's American Dream, and it is the scene where Tom finds out that Daisy has been cheating on him, starting on page 137, and I adapted it. So I will be playing Nick.
I'll be playing Tom.
I'll be Daisy.
I'll be Gatsby. Okay, scene. Tom had always seen himself as standing alone on the last barrier of civilization. Flushed with impassioned gibberish, he demanded to know what Gatsby had to tell him.
But guessing at Gatsby's intentions?
Daisy interrupted helplessly.
Please don't, let's all go home. Why don't we all go home?
But still standing alone, Tom insisted on hearing what Gatsby had to tell him.
Your wife doesn't love you. She's never loved you. She loves me.
You must be crazy.
Gatsby sprang to his feet, vivid with excitement.
She never loved you, do you hear? She only married you because I was poor and she was tired of waiting for me. It was a terrible mistake, but in her heart, she never loved anyone except me.
At this point, George and I tried to go, but
Tom and Gatsby insisted.
With competitive firmness,
that we remain.
as though neither of them had anything to conceal.
And it would be a privilege to partake vicariously of their emotions. What's going on? I want to hear all about it.
I told you what's been going on. Not seeing, no, we couldn't meet, but both of us loved each other all that time, old sport. And you didn't know.
You're crazy.
He couldn't speak about what had happened 5 years ago because he didn't know her yet.
Daisy loved me when she married me, and she loves me now.
No.
She does, though. The trouble is that sometimes she gets foolish ideas in her head and doesn't know what she's doing. Once in a while, I go off on a spree and make a fool of myself, but I always come back, and in my heart, I love her all the time.
Revolting.
Daisy, that's all over now. It doesn't matter anymore. Just tell him the truth, that you never loved him, and it's all wiped out forever.
Why, how could I love him, possibly?
Then, with perceptible reluctance,
I never loved him. See, Myrtle's American Dream, adapted by me, starting on page 26. I am Myrtle.
I'll be portraying Tom.
I will be Nick.
I am Dog Seller.
So Tom Buchanan and his girl and I went together to New York.
She had changed her dress to a brown-figured muslin, which stretched tight over her rather wide hips.
As Tom helped her to the platform in New York.
Upstairs in the solemn echoing drive, she let 4 taxi cabs drive away before selecting a new one, with lavender-colored and gray upholstery.
Immediately, she turned sharply from the window and tapped on the front glass.
I want to get one of those dogs. I want to get one for the apartment. They're nice to have, a dog. We backed up to a great old man, and a basket swung from his neck cowered a dozen very recent puppies of an indeterminate breed. What kind are they?
All kinds. What kind do you want, lady?
I'd like to get one of those police dogs. I don't suppose you got that kind.
Oh. The man peered doubtfully into the basket.
Plunged his hand up and drew one up. That's no police dog.
No, it's not exactly a police dog. It's more of an air dog.
I think it's cute. How much is it?
That dog will cost you $10.
The Airedale changed hands
And settled into
Mrs. Wilson's lap, where she fondled with the weatherproof coat with rapture. So mean. This is Tom's American Dream, adapted by Ella Fredrickson. It takes place starting on page 5 and goes into some other pages. Scene.
I drove over to have dinner with the Tom Buchanan. I'd known Tom in college. He had been one of the most powerful ends that had ever played football at New Haven.
Among various physical accomplishments, I was a national figure in a way, reaching new excellence at 21.
Such an acute excellence that everything afterwards savors of anticlimax.
His family were enormously wealthy. When I left Chicago to come east, I brought down a string of polo ponies from Lake Forest.
It was hard to realize that a man in my own generation was wealthy enough to do that.
Well, I've got a nice little place here, a cheerful red and white Georgian colonial mansion, overlooking the bay.
The lawn started at the beach and ran towards the front door for
a quarter of a mile.
Their house was even more elaborate than I expected, and his wife, Daisy,
was lovely too. And what's more, I love her too. Once in a while I go off on a spree and make a fool of myself, but I always come back, and in my heart, I love her all the time.
What about your girl in New York?
Don't believe everything you hear, Nick. See.